What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay, back to talk some Packers as we're getting ready for the Green Bay Packers to face off against the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow at noon. Lambeau. It don't get any better than that, man. I haven't even looked at the latest weather report either, Tim. Are they still calling for really nice weather, like 72 degrees and sunny, something like that?
Yep, it should be high 60s for the tailgate in the morning, and then low 70s around kickoff, and then mid to upper 70s by the time you're heading out of 1265 celebrating that victory. So it's going to be a beautiful day for football tomorrow for sure.
Heck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be a blast. The noon game at Lambeau has always been my favorite. I just love the vibe. It was the first game I went to was Packers Bears, and it was a noon game, and it was an alumni game, and had all the legends there in the house. And there's just nothing better than tailgating at, like he said, 10 a.m., right, getting ready for the game. And then when the game lets out, still a lot of daylight left, hanging out down there around the stadium, maybe try to squeeze your way into the 1919 Kitchen and Tap, which at the time when I went, it was called Curly's Pub. And I wish it was still called Curly's Pub. It was just an awesome atmosphere, man. Let's do this. Let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live, Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description that'll send you to theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Apologize for the voice. Going to be 100% transparent. Been a rough 48 hours. So I'm drag-assing, for lack of a better way of saying it. I told Tim it's been a busy couple of days with all the crazy weather down here. And I want to say thanks to everyone who DM'd me. We're fine. We are actually in a really safe location. The problem is 30 minutes in every direction is just absolute chaos because of dams breaking, things like that. And man, just thoughts and prayers out to everyone who's affected, because like I was telling Tim offline, it's tough, man, when you see people who have spent their whole life working to provide for their family and provide for their community and taking care of one another, and then just in a blink of an eye, it all goes away. It's tough. It's tough to see people go through that, but we are safe and sound. We being, me, Mandy, obviously everybody in our town, but yeah, like I said, T's and P's to everyone that was affected by it for sure. So I'm just a little wore out, so hopefully we can get through this, and I won't bore you guys and gals to death. And you could probably hear in the voice it's pretty weak, different kind of weak in the voice than after the Titans game, though, Tim. If you know what I mean. That was a whole different ball game.
Same result, different reasoning, though, right?
Right, exactly right, man. So yeah, we're just going to kind of hammer out the latest news here. I know we got a bunch of people in the chat already. If you see anything that interests you in there, Tim, feel free to mark it. I'll try to keep an eye on it as well. I know there's a lot of people in here asking about Love, and we're going to start right there, man. First things first. So here's what we got, gang. It isn't like official Jordan Love starting tomorrow, but this is what we're hearing. Adam Schefter tweets out, after being inactive the past two games, Packers quarterback Jordan Love is expected to be active Sunday versus the Vikings per league sources.
Here's the guy.
Well, that's just Adam Schefter, right? Well, got a little bit of confirmation. Ian Rappaport, he's back. Packers quarterback Jordan Love is expected to return to the lineup against the Vikings 3 weeks after spraining his MCL. So, obviously, Schefter and Ian Rappaport, two of the best in the business at covering this type of stuff. They were very hesitant the last 2 weeks. Now you see they're being a lot more aggressive, especially Ian. If it was just this one from Schefter, I'd be like, okay, let's maybe not yet. But that right there from Ian really tells you everything you need to hear. So really excited to have 10 back in the fold. And I know a lot of people have been talking about, with a blitz-heavy team like the Vikings, wouldn't it be better to have someone who can scramble? I feel like that's a big misconception, and I could be wrong. But, Tim, when you got a scrambling quarterback and you got a team that likes to blitz a lot, it's not ideal, because what you want in facing the blitz is, you want to be able to move around the pocket the way Jay Love did the first time or the last time they met New Year's Eve last year. You want to be able to move around the pocket, but you want to push the ball down the field against those blitzes. Like you want to hurt them every time they bring an extra guy after the quarterback. And I just don't feel like that's Malik Willis's game. Yeah, he can scramble. I think he's proven to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league at that. But the fact that Jordan Love can read, recognize, identify, reset the protection, be able to change the play at the line of scrimmage, may even come to the line of scrimmage with 3 or 4 plays, who knows, right? And be able to get into an advantageous look and be able to push the ball down the field. That's what I'm excited about, man. What do you think about Jay Love? It sounds like he's back, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you kind of stole my thunder. I was thinking the same thing. Malik Willis clearly has a grasp on this offense already in this past couple of weeks, and he's continuing to excel. However, he's not Jordan Love. Okay, and being mobile is great, and that'll get you so far. But you're right, when you're dealing with a blitz heavy team or a team like Minnesota's defense that loves to use pre-snap sugar, you see a lot of deception in their looks. Having a guy like Jordan Love who can pick up and diagnose that potential blitz before it even happens, that's huge. Like you said, checking out, calling a set that you've got 2 or 3 or 4 other options out of. Maybe you call, somebody hot. You set up a hot route, get yourself out of that pressure. Sometimes the best thing you can do if you're facing a blitz, particularly from the edge as a quarterback, is to look right at that pressure and stare down that pressure and look for that daylight behind it, because usually there's something open on the back end. So being able to diagnose, read, react, get the ball out quick, I'd rather have that than somebody running for their life all day long against pressure.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I'm excited to see Love back. And again, there's probably going to be a little bit of rust, but the closer we get to this game, the better I feel about it. The line has shifted back to 3 points. It's kind of hovered around Green Bay. It started off at Green Bay laying 3, and then it kind of shifted to 2.5, then 2, and now it's back to 3. So it sounds like with the news that Jordan Love is, I keep wanting to say gonna play, but you know how this goes. There's a chance there could be a setback, but obviously with the roster elevations, that would make things very difficult. And this is what I mean by that. Tom Silverstein actually tweeted out earlier today, the Packers did not elevate backup quarterback Sean Clifford to the game day roster, meaning it's likely Jordan Love will make his first start since injuring his knee in the season opener. The Packers elevated Kamal Haddon and Robert Rochelle. He went on to quote tweet that and then say,
sorry, who is that again?
Which one? Kamal Haddon?
Who?
And that's what everybody's saying in the chat too, Tim. Funny, I think it was too old for this. I've never heard of the name Kamal Haddon before. They picked him up off of waivers a few weeks back. And if I remember correctly, the Kansas City Chiefs drafted him and then they cut him. So he was good enough for the Chiefs to actually draft him. I remember him in the draft process. I'm pretty sure it was this year. Now, it could have been a couple of years ago. Let me look through my draft board real quick and see if he pops up here anywhere. Let me see here real quick, because it might have been last year's draft. I was thinking it was this year's draft, though. Just taking a quick glance. Yeah, there he is. This year's draft. So I had him pretty far down the list. He was 1, 2, 3, 4th from the bottom as far as the corners that I ranked on my board. But, yeah, he again, I think it was the Chiefs that drafted him. So when the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs drafts a player, obviously he had a good draft grade on him. Now, why did they let him go? That can be an equal question there, right? Like, okay, why, if he was that good, why would they let him go? Who knows? But the Packers seen enough to basically elevate him, Tim. And here's the reason why. So I'm going to hit this real quick. If you look at the injury report, and I apologize, it's in such small writing here, but Jair Alexander at the top, quadriceps / groin, limited, did not participate Friday. He is.
Oh my gosh.
So the fact that you elevated 2 corners pretty much tells me Jair's not playing. So you got to plan on Jair not playing. Now, I know it's a little bit alarming, like, oh, crap, what are we going to do? Keep in mind when we beat them on New Year's Eve last year, if I remember correctly, Jair didn't even play in that game. Corey Ballantyne pretty much shut down Justin Jefferson, ended up getting an interception. I think Justin Jefferson might have had 1 catch, if any, that night. So I'm not overly concerned, to be honest with you, Tim. I think the people who are really freaking out were like, well, we want man coverage. We want Jair Alexander to match up on Justin Jefferson in man coverage. And as we've pointed out time and time again this week, Jair Alexander's results in man coverage this year have been horrible. In zone, it's been great. So I don't know.
They weren't great results last year in man coverage either.
Yeah. Exactly. So
That's kind of why I'm bummed. I want to see him put some momentum together. He played pretty well last week, and it's tough to see him miss a game here. I'd like to see him build week to week, like he talked about in his post game speeches in the locker room. He talked about building on your success, week to week, build on the wins, and it's just going to be tough to see him not out there tomorrow.
No, I completely agree, man. And again, though, man, it's look, next man up. Let's get after it, and let's go out there and make this happen. Now, what's interesting is when we looked into the numbers too, Carrington Valentine actually has a similar passer rating when targeted as Eric Stokes, and it was actually in man coverage, and it was actually better in zone coverage, if I remember correctly. I may have those mixed up. I know that essentially Carrington Valentine, was better in man coverage than Eric Stokes. So you're going to have Carrington Valentine, and you're going to have our boy Eric Stokes on the outside, right?
I don't think we're going to have CV. He's doubtful.
Oh, is he really?
He's doubtful.
Yeah,
so we may be looking at
that makes sense, right? That does make sense since
Corey
you got
Valentine then maybe.
Yeah, with the two elevations, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, Corey Valentine, man, my boy. Corey Valentine's only had one snap this year, I believe, Tim. Yeah. Let's see what he can do again. What if he goes out there and gets another interception and gets the Vikings? How awesome would that be?
That would be great. Interesting that we didn't see a Kalen King elevation. I'm wondering if he's just not a boundary guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what really is, I think, catching people off guard with this Kamal Hadden elevation, right? It's like he hasn't been here that long. Bang, they're going to bring him right up over King. So
we may see some Rob Rochelle too. Him being elevated, that's, we could possibly see him play a little corner.
Yeah. The way I see the Robert Rochelle elevation, I'm kind of looking at it like, all right, whoever else is on the roster at corner, let's say it was Corey Valentine, he's now going to step in the starter row. You want to take him off special teams a little bit. He's going to need more of a break. So maybe Robert Rochelle steps into that role. It just feels like Robert Rochelle is the better special teams player of the two, if that makes sense. So
for sure.
We'll see, though, man. The rest of the injury report here, we'll go through it real quick. Kenny Clark, full participation. Elton Jenkins, full participation. Tucker Kraft, back to full participation. We knew he was going to play. Jordan Love is officially listed as questionable, but we know every other sign in the entire universe suggests he's going to play tomorrow. Jordan Morgan, with the shoulder, he is definitely out. Luke Musgrave, full participation. Josh Myers, Jaden Reed, Zach Tom, all full participation. Like you said, Carrington Valentine did not participate. He's doubtful. And Devontae Wyatt's good to go, too, with the shoulder. So that's how the injuries shake out.
That's some good news peppered in there with some bad news, right?
Yeah.
Devontae Wyatt was a bit of an eyebrow raiser, seeing him pop up on that injury list after playing probably his best game as a Packer last week. Talk about a guy you want to see build momentum also is Big D Wyatt right there. Yeah, 4 tackles, 3 QB hits, 2 sacks, 2 tackle for loss. Let's go. Let's have another stat line like that tomorrow.
And what's crazy too, hopefully we'll get to it. I was looking through just some really, really specific stats in run stop percentage for the Packers. And when you break it down for the entire team, run stop percentage, which essentially is it focuses only on running plays and stops, tackles that constitute a loss for the offense. Players impacting the running game is sometimes based on the total volume of tackles made. However, firstly, does that number include tackles on passing plays? And more importantly, did those tackles really count? Stops constitute a loss for the offense. So this table shows the percentage of stops per snap played only in run defense. And I want to point that out because on the entire team, this is every position on defense. This is the stop percentage, okay? And run defensive snaps, 18 for Eric Wilson, 22.2% stop rate. Lucas Van Ness second at 14.3. Carl Brooks third at 12.5%. And then you got Devontae Wyatt at 12%. All right, so Carl Brooks, Devontae Wyatt, they're quickly becoming your run stoppers on this defensive line. I know everybody's going, where's Kenny? Kenny is actually 10th on the team at only 4.5%. So Devontae Wyatt, I wanted to bring that up about the run stop, Tim, because you see the stats here, the sacks, the QB hits, the tackles for loss, everything. He's actually improving his game in the run game too, man. Hopefully that's our 3 tech of the future there. We can continue to grow there.
Yeah. absolutely. I tweeted that a few days ago about, keep your eye on Devontae Wyatt in that 3-tech for sure. And, we were talking about him and TJ Slayton also coming out of camp. TJ had a pretty good camp, and I think he's kind of plateaued a little bit. He's kind of been under the radar, but Devontae Wyatt continues to improve really week to week. So hopefully he has a better game than he had last week tomorrow. Because if we can stop that run and do our best to make it difficult for Aaron Jones out there, it's going to make those guys on the edge, it's going to make their jobs a lot easier to really keyhole and get after that quarterback. And Sam Darnold will be sacked. He's not a guy that if we can get to him, I don't see him wiggling out of that pocket too much. So hopefully we get the pressures up too. But it goes hand in hand with being stout up front in the middle there and stopping the run.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris in the chat said, I love Kenny in all caps, but his extension can be questioned, right? Absolutely. Everything can be questioned on this podcast, man. And I mean, the reality is Kenny has not played well, and when I say not played well, like you look at his PFF grade last year, that's a solid performance for a defensive lineman. You're getting after the quarterback. That's always top priority. But when a guy is getting paid, top 3, top 5 defensive line money, when you look at his cap hit and compare it to like a Quinnen Williams, and it's my understanding Quinnen Williams is actually having a down year himself. But yeah, man, it's okay to question that. I know I do. You guys heard me going into the year. I was saying I wouldn't extend him. And what I would do is let him test the market and see if you can get him at a little bit discounted rate and go out and try to find your 3-tech of the future, because he's got a lot of wear on him, man. He really does. He's been in the league since he was 12 years old, it feels like, right? So, like, there's, and then, of course, the Packers extend him, and you guys know I'm always going to do this. Goody said, hey, he's worth top 3, top 5 defensive line money. I'm not going to question that. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I understand player evaluation more than Brian Gutekunst. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely fair to question it. It is. And it just goes to show you, though, like how important an interior defensive lineman is and how important edge defenders are. Those are those top priority positions on defense. And, the problem is, like the old Bill Walsh adage, the old Bill Belichick adage, you're willing to overpay for great, never be willing to overpay for good. I feel like Kenny's been good. He hasn't been great. Now, maybe he could turn it around. We're only 3 games in here, right? But obviously, Goody's seen something to extend him 3 years like that for sure. And we know the 3 years really means 2, Tim. Like we can get out of it in 2. But he's definitely a leader in the locker room. There's no 2 ways about that.
I wonder if that plays a bigger role than maybe we think. Maybe we've given, a lot of credence to, is the fact that you see guys like Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks. We've got young talent on that D line and in that defense as a whole. And Kenny is maybe they wanted to extend him just to keep him around these next couple of years to kind of usher in the changing of the guard there up front and, have a smooth transition. But, I certainly think he does. He brings a lot of value as a leader, helping guys, learn from mistakes that they're making and trying to go out there and be effective when he can. And like you said, there's a lot of ball left, so, he could turn it up towards the end of this season, end of the season. So, I'm not ready to cut and run from Kenny yet. But I certainly think it's fair to question the extension for sure.
Right. Definitely. Prince in the chat say Kenny's contract had those voidable years, so the extension did make sense to avoid dead money. Very good point, Prince. If they didn't extend him, you're going to have to eat some cap and with those voidable years, no doubt. But again, my issue is you want the best, you want to field the best team possible. And I feel like based off what we've seen the last couple of years from Kenny, extending him, I don't think that gives you the best shot unless you're building that floor. And again, that goes back to the comment, never overpay for good, right? If you're overpaying for good, you're overpaying for the floor. That's not a good way to approach that, right? So, and we'll see if Devontae Wyatt shakes out. I think it's what's becoming really, really obvious, though, is you're probably going to want to try to look at the interior defensive line in the draft coming up. No doubt about that. Try to at least have one body in there that might potentially be your future there at the 3-tech. But Nick McSwain said, do y'all think it's the new system? He's been asked to do is he being asked to do anything different? This is the conversation that's just been going on for feels like decades now, Nick. everybody last year was saying, well, Kenny plays nose, Kenny plays nose, Kenny plays nose. And every time you turn on the tape, you're like, he's not playing nose every snap.
Yeah.
Slayton was playing nose in the base. And then when you would go to the nickel, Kenny had his fair share of three techs. I'm talking about last year under the Joe Barry system. And by three tech, I mean lining up in between the guard and the tackle. Thank you, Tim. Right here between the guard and the tackle. So when we talk nose or shade, you're talking 0 to 1 tech. That's typically what that is. Now, it can be considered nose if you're playing a 2-eye. But once you get to the 2-eye, I'm kind of like, okay, now you're trying to bend the narrative to fit your stance on it, right? But yeah, Kenny played a lot of 3 last year. So that's why I just rolled my eyes every time people said that last year. I'm going, that's not the case. And the whole 2-gap argument, in which we always talked about, like LaFleur mentioned, 2 backs equals 2 gap, 1 back equals 1 gap. And we were in nickel the large majority of the time, which was a 1 gap approach. Now, at times they may have shifted to a 2 gap if they had a run heavy team and they wanted to bring a spur in the box to kind of act as if it was a makeshift 34 base, even though you were in nickel type thing. But that was just a big misconception too there. So I don't think it's a new system. That going into this year, everybody was talking about, man, this new one gap system, Kenny's going to eat. He's going to blow up. He's going to blow up. And by the time camp was over, Tim, I know it was wishful thinking, but I was sitting there going, yeah, man, maybe this is what's going to unlock him. Even though in the back of my mind, I'm going, nothing's really changing about his responsibility here, but I'll play along. It just hasn't worked. So to answer your question, Nick, I don't think anything in this scheme is forcing Kenny to have a worse year. Now, it does feel like he's playing more 1 tech, which is nose this year, which is ironic because last year everybody was saying he was playing so much nose. This year he's not going to be, and now here he is playing more 1 tech. So
that could just be Hafley really trying to, put him in a position to be successful, in this defense. I agree. I don't think there's been anything so drastically different that it's throwing him off his game, like you said, I mean, he's been in the league for 200 years, right? I mean, we've got to realize that, players get older. I'm not going to say he's lost a step or anything like that, but, you get to a point where, I don't know how long you can play this game and continue to improve year after year after year. At a certain point, you hit that proverbial ceiling that we all talk about, and maybe Kenny's just there, and this is what we're getting. And hopefully he finishes his career out and retires a Packer. But this deal has left us with some options and left him with some options. So I think we're all right now. We just got to let him play out this year. We're only 3 games in. Let's give him a few more cracks at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. We had several marked. Ron Sample, hope Ja can play. I don't see it happening. Do you, Tim?
No.
I mean, let's go back to it one more time here. What was he officially listed questionable? I don't know, man. I don't know. Way more of a chance than Carrington, obviously, right? Being doubtful. So
yeah. I would hold on to that 50-50, that 50% hope that maybe Ja goes. It could be one of them things where he gets up, gets dressed, jogs out there, right? Little stretching, little work on that field a couple hours before game time, and see how he's feeling. If he goes like this, and hey, then let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you never know, man. I hope he plays too, Ron. I do, man. Let's see what else we got here. Nick McSwain, the way people are talking about the Vikings D, you'd think they were undefeatable. Yeah, so here's the thing about the Vikings defense. Not much has changed from last year. They're running the same type of scheme. They run a whole bunch of cover 4, whole bunch of cover 2. People hear that and go, what are you talking about, Clayton? They blitz a lot. That's what everybody's telling you, right? They do blitz a lot. 10% of the time they run 0 blitz. But the reality is over 50% of the time, they've got 2 high safeties post-snap. That's what they're really doing. Now, they're disguising a lot and belling out with Harrison Smith and some of these back, Blake Cashman, people like that. You guys, we seen it last year in the New Year's Eve game. When Jordan hit that very first touchdown pass down the seam, that was cover 2 invert. They were showing an exotic look, and Jordan read it like a damn book. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. As soon as he read invert or roll, some people call it roll, I call it invert. And basically what it is typically in the cover 2 zone defense, the safeties have deep halves, and then you got 5 guys underneath in zone blanket. In a cover 2 invert, the safety will actually buzz or rotate down and one of the corners will drop deep and cover half. And you're trying to bait the quarterback into throwing that. So when the quarterback comes to the line of scrimmage and he's thinking, okay, it looks like cover two, the safety buzzed, I've got deep sideline, and then all of a sudden the corner's bailing out deep half. You don't have that now, right?
Yep.
And Jordan read it like a book, like I said, goes to the 3, which is Dontavion Wicks, or it might have been Jaden Reed. No, it was Dontavion Wicks, I believe. Regardless, one of those two. He went to the 3 right down the seam, touchdown. It was like, I'll never forget that, Tim. I was in Chattanooga watching that game on a tiny little TV, and I was like, bro, he read that invert. I didn't recognize the invert until the play was over because I was like, what's this? Where did this say? I thought, is that cover 1 zone? What the hell is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because Jordan read it perfect, and they had a concept that held that corner who was in the other deep half at home, Dontavion Wicks or Jaden Reed, whichever one it was, right down the seam, skinny post touchdown. So, yeah, as far as people talking about them being undefeatable, Nick, everybody in the league is defeatable. There's no doubt about it, man.
Yep.
It's just a matter of scheming up the right game plan and executing. That's what's going to come down to. Are they good? Yeah. Their numbers suggest they're much better this year. But you got to keep in mind, they beat the Giants, right? We talk about that. The Giants are nothing to write home about. They went out and beat the San Francisco 49ers, albeit they were pretty banged up, so you got to take that into consideration too. And then they beat Houston last week, and I'm telling you, Houston gave them the game. We'll look at some next-gen stats stuff if we have time here. I'll show you some diagrams of some of the big plays they made. Both interceptions, mistake on the quarterback. Should not have been picks. Like, it was just – I say they should not have been picks. A good quarterback, and C.J. Stroud is a great quarterback. I don't know. It's like he just temporarily lost his mind during that game, but he really did. One was a miscommunication. Actually, both could be considered miscommunication. One, the receiver was running kind of a post or a climb, and you could tell CJ thought he was going to sit down, so it was probably a choice route. Throws it behind him. The guy keeps running, goes right to the safety. The other one, the Y, I believe it was. The Y was the hot read, and he didn't get his head around. CJ held it a little bit, tried to get it out, and obviously I think it got batted and intercepted on that play. So, yeah. But, yeah, I think they're defeatable. What do you think about their defense, Tim? How much respect do you think they warrant there, man? Do you think they're a legit top 5 defense, Minnesota?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would definitely say they deserve to be respected, and we can't take it lightly. We just talked about it. They use a lot of deception pre-snap. So that makes me feel good about Jay Money coming back and playing, having experience dealing with those type of defenses. They got a few pieces on that defense that are, as Jacob would say if he was here, they're steady Eddie kind of guys. Harrison Smith, you know what you're going to get. The guy's been playing football the same way his entire career. We know we're no stranger to his game in that secondary, as well as coming up and mugging at the line. So, you got to just, you want to respect them, but not fear them, right? You can't take them for granted. You can't go in there arrogant or cocky and think you're just going to, put 56 points up on them or something. But we don't want to come from a place of fear, and we don't want to play on our heels. We want to go right at them and, make them earn it. Let's not, teams are not their records. I don't care if they're 3-0. I don't care if they were 0-3. You have to take your opponent seriously. And like you said, you have to put together your game plan, and you got to go out and execute. We can stop shooting ourselves in the foot with some of these knuckleheaded penalties that we've had. That'll probably help us against this defense. So, I think you got to respect Minnesota, as much as that makes me sick to my stomach to have to say that. But yeah, I don't want to see us, thinking, oh, we're at home, hey, we can get them. You don't want to be overly confident. So I think the respect level is there. I think our team has got their heads screwed on straight, and we'll come out and give them hell for 60 minutes tomorrow.
There you go. So this is one of the interceptions. I think this one actually came in the fourth quarter. This is the one to the safety I was talking about. You can see the routes here, Tim. I don't understand this route concept, to be honest with you, this passing concept. You notice how both receivers are ending up in the same spot?
Yeah.
That's usually not by design. So I think what C.J. Stroud was expecting was this guy to sit down right here. And as we roll the tape forward here on Next Gen Stats, you'll see he goes out. C.J. Stroud gets pressure on the outside, steps up, delivers the ball 52 in his face. But look where he puts the ball on 12. Yeah. See, it's like he was expecting him to sit down right there, and he didn't. So, or he took it too far. And those choice routes, 12, if it is designed to sit there, he's got to be reading 51 and know I got to get back. I got to turn this almost into a hitch, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the interception. So again, that was just, and for everybody who's, you know, thinking and saying, man, look how aggressive they are. Look at this set, Tim. Shell coverage, two deep safeties, right? So you got to be careful who you listen to, because there's a lot of people out there spouting off the mouth that don't know what's going on. And you see it's just a 4-man rush here too, Tim. That's all that is. So it looked like it's of the variety here. You got a wide 9, a 4, a 5, and a wide 9 is what you got as far as the 4 rushers. And listen, the pass protection did break down on this play, but I just don't like this concept. You got 2 deep options, right, and 1 underneath, and it's like where is the protection, right? Like you got the tight end staying in, and they still hit home.
Yeah,
that's sad. So that was.
I mean, you're right. You're going to put it on Stroud for that throw, but there could be a lot of variables there. You had a protection breakdown. You got a receiver running a choice you're out of sync with, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe if he cuts that route and sits down, it's a completion. You never know.
Right. But again, on that call right there, guys, we talked about they run a lot of cover 4 and a lot of cover 2. What this is right here is Tampa 2. It looks like to me. What's 51? Take the seam.
Yep.
Right. That right there is called Tampa 2. So.
And you had a little sugar there from your safety. Was that Smith on the right side, coming down almost to the box and then fading back out?
I'm trying to think of what Harrison Smith's number is. Is
22,
it 40?
I think. Is he 22?
Yeah, I think you're right. Is he not even on the field right here?
Maybe he's not even out there on that play.
If he's 22, yeah, you're right. So one of the things they like to do, they like to run a lot of dime too, what some people call dime. And it's because they like to play a safety at the linebacker position. So just keep that in mind too. They do mix and match a little bit of that in. Let's see if I can go back here real quick and find the other interception. Since we're on it, we'll go ahead and hit it. Let's see right here. So this one came, I think, a little earlier in the game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this was the first quarter. So 1st and 20, ball on their own 20 right here on this specific play. And this is the one that got batted, I'm pretty sure. So you see ball snapped. And you notice, so it's number 3. It wasn't the tight end. You see he's kind of looking for 3 right here. And if you watch the tape, number 3's head isn't even around. So Stroud's kind of like, come on, buddy, get your head around, waits too long. And I think the ball gets tipped by 97. It definitely does. So he's actually, if that ball doesn't get tipped, he hits number 3, but 3's kind of slowing up here. But he should have been hot. You could tell that our boy Stroud was expecting him to go hot. So 97 tips the pass, and it gets picked off by the linebacker. And if you notice on this coverage here, they're showing single high. So they're showing middle field close at the snap, ball snapped, and you're bringing a backer. So that right there is what you call a will fire. And now you're seeing Harrison Smith right here, Tim. So you're right, 22. So he's in the box on this play, but 51 fires. So you're bringing a 5-man rush. They read it perfect. They really did. And you listen, is as cool as it is that Harrison Smith can kind of get down here and mug, and then get back deep and everything. This specific play here, you end up with 2 defenders covering the same spot. That's not a good look right there.
Yeah.
You know? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so this play call here to me looks like he clamps down. I don't think it's man. Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah, it is. It's man. So it's cover 1 man on that. So it's cover 1 man, will fire is what you would call that. So 5-man rush, will backer blitzing, and cover 1 man coverage there. So there you go. And again, the 2 interceptions come off a 5-man rush and a 4-man rush. You go listen to the talking heads on the 4-letter network, and they're like, they're blitzing every play. It's what we're talking about here, guys. So anyway, I thought it'd be cool to kind of show that there, just kind of give everybody a visualization of what it is they're doing. So they're playing a lot better than they did last year. There's no doubt about it. Let's see here. United Bates in the chat arrived in Green Bay earlier this afternoon for the game tomorrow. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Here's the guy.
Send me some pictures, man, in the DMs. All right, slide into the DMs, Bates. Send me some tailgate shots. All right, not tail shots, tailgate shots. And Tim, you do the same. Tim's going to be over there tailgating a little bit tomorrow, possibly too. We'll see. I don't know. Is that set in stone, Tim? Are you going to try?
If we get up in time in the morning, make that drive over. Gonna meet my mom out there, and yeah, we'll do a little tailgating. We don't have tickets to the game, so we don't get to watch the Packers beat the Vikings at Lambeau. But I don't know. We'll have fun. I'll probably make it back in time for pregame show, so that'll be good. But yeah, Lot 1, infamous Lot 1 tailgate crew. We'll see you guys out there tomorrow.
Bates, swing by there, shake Tim's hand, man. Might have some daddy soda lurking around over there somewhere. Who knows, man? But enjoy the game, though, Bates. Let's see here. 2-0 for this. Darnold has a bone bruise on his knee. I've had those, and they suck. He's going to be even less mobile than a Cybertruck in Seattle. All right. So here's the thing. Push the middle of the pocket. Put pressure right in Sam Darnold's face. That's what you need to be doing. I know we got a couple other plays here that I could key up, but Tim, what's your on the surface there? How do you feel about Sam Darnold? And listen, it was a week ago they were checking that knee like, oh crap, is this something bad? So it had to be something legit. I've always heard bone bruises suck.
Yeah, painful, very painful. You're aware of them the whole time you have them. Honestly, I got my own quarterback and his knee to worry about. Don't really care about the the Vikings quarterback situation. And honestly, even Sam Darnold with a healthy knee is not. I'm not wildly concerned about him running all over us. So I think, like I said, we got to, pass rush has got to get home, but we got to be stout against the run. If we can, be stout against that run threat and do our best to try and contain Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones is going to get his. I mean, that's not a, it's almost like the old way back in the 90s when they tried to defend those Chicago Bulls teams in the NBA. You knew you were going to get 40 points from Jordan. There wasn't much you could really do about it. So, you look at Aaron Jones, you figure he's going to carry the ball a lot of times. He's going to be a threat in that pass game. So we got to account for him. But when it comes to Sam Darnold back there, you don't want to give him all day. I don't care how good your defense is. A secondary is only going to be able to cover, as long as they can. You give a quarterback all day back there, especially a guy proven like Sam Darnold, he can pick you apart. So if anything, I want him out of there. Flush him out of that pocket with that bad leg. Let him hobble around back there and try and make something happen. That's going to favor us a lot more than letting him be comfortable in that pocket.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. And I'm going to drop this down real quick. And so here was a touchdown pass that Aaron Jones actually caught last week, okay? And this is what you call spot mesh. That's what I've always heard it called. If you'll notice number 4 here, if you can see my cursor, yeah, he's going to kind of run. It's almost like a slurl, Tim, but it's more of a skinny. And he's just going to sit down right here. And then you've got the mesh concept where you've got kind of a short cross and a shallow cross underneath. And what you're trying to do is get those defenders to pick each other, right? And you can read leverage before you even finish your drop. As a quarterback, you can read leverage which one of those shallows or drags has the leverage on their defender. And that's where you can go with the football. Really, really cool concept. Very simple. Now, notice what they did, though. They're in 11 personnel, actually 12 personnel here. See, I'm pretty sure 83 is a tie. I'm not 100% sure on that. I probably shouldn't say. Let's say it's 11 personnel. Notice what they did, though. They flexed Aaron Jones out wide, and they put, I think that's Justin Jefferson, they put in the backfield. And then, of course, they run a wheel route out to clear out the sideline here. If you'll notice, Justin Jefferson's going to kind of take some coverage out with him, and that frees everything up for the mesh underneath for Aaron Jones. So everybody got going in different directions there. They threw a corner on the other side, so if he does get in trouble, I imagine the plan was Sam Darnold, roll right, work your way out of the pocket, and then you've got layers here. You can throw it back across your body to the spot. You can hit the little shallow cross that's going to be going in your direction, and you've got a corner route going to the back corner of the end zone. But again, that's how they're utilizing Aaron Jones. I thought it was really interesting they put Justin Jefferson in the backfield. I'm pretty sure he's number 18. So yeah. That's really
the most interesting part, right? JJ in the backfield. Seeing Aaron Jones split out wide is nothing new to us, right? We've seen that once or twice here in Green Bay. But yeah, man, that's just an interesting concept inside the red zone that we got to account for on defense, because I'm assuming they're going to try and run stuff like this.
Yeah. And what you're trying to do, too, notice the nasty splits, right? Everybody's inside the numbers. You do that. You want to get all these defenders in the same bunched up area, then run that mesh play and just get chaos.
Do you think the defenses now, when they see that, when they see those nasty sets like that you're almost anticipating get out to the boundary? Like they're selling hard that they want all this action inside, but we know it ain't happening.
Right. And I think they do, or they did for a while. And what started happening, like on this spot play, the beautiful thing about it is you were reading my mind, like, okay, maybe you should try to play outside leverage on everything here, right? If you do that, look at how it opens up that spot play in the middle, right? Number
Right.
4, if you're opened up on the outside, then 4 is shading to the outside, maybe looking to pick up 3. He's going to sit down in that spot and just hammer that in there for the touchdown.
Yep.
You know? So
That's true.
that's kind of how I see that. But
Really, you want your linebackers on alert so guys aren't getting picked, you know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if did they dial up any pressure. Just a 4-man rush, right? Yeah, just a 4-man rush. Good protection. 51 almost hit home, but
you'd almost rather rush 5 there instead of having a guy get picked, right? Might as
Yeah.
well just send the dog.
yeah. I mean, you ended up with 4 defenders in the same area anyway. Who the hell cares? Go ahead and fire a couple more, right? Might as well. So there you go. There's like I said, just a little glimpse into what they're doing offensively. That's one of their plays. So interested to see how they attack the Packers there. Let's see. Anything else in the chat we need to hit on? If not, we'll move it along here. I think we're good. All right, so back to the quarterback talk, Tim. This came down the pipe, kind of caught my attention. Diana Rossini tweeted it out, and this is from The Athletic, okay? The Athletic tweeted it out from Diana Rossini. Said Malik Willis has been outstanding the last 2 weeks, leading the pack to 2 wins while Jordan Love continues to rest and rehab his knee. Is there a chance that we could see both Love and Willis on Sunday? Here's what Diana Rossini is hearing, okay? If he plays on Sunday, Love won't be 100%, but keep an eye on LaFleur possibly using Malik Willis in a package to keep the Vikings on their toes. Even if Willis doesn't start, he could get on the field. I had kind of proposed the idea of what if you activate Jordan Love and have him not start, let Malik Willis go out there, and then if the game isn't going the way you want it to, then bring Love off the bench. This kind of seems like the opposite, almost like, hey, let's when you get in these specific situations, like let's say like a 3rd and 1, or you're inside the 5, and we know the Packers have really struggled in red zone efficiency. Now, Malik Willis running the ball in last week in Tennessee, awesome read option there. You throw that wrinkle into your game, and you can quickly, in the blink of an eye, turn that read option, that zone read, into an RPR, right? You can do that too. So it's interesting, man. I wouldn't have a problem with this. As far as if it's by design, hey, in these specific situations, let's do this. But like I had mentioned last night, I just can't think of the last team that did this and won a Super Bowl, or even had a whole lot of success. It's not the blueprint to win a lot of games in the NFL. And I think it can take your offense a little out of rhythm, maybe. But I might be reading too deep into it. I'm interested to see what your take is on this, man. You're muted, brother.
Sorry about that. I think it depends on how much they've run it in practice this week. And I don't know if we've gotten anything leaking out that suggests that other than, maybe that's where some of this reporting is coming from. Those media members get a little bit more access. They're able to see things that we don't. But I will tell you, I would lean towards that. Basically, what I think you're saying when you put a statement out here like this is the fact that Malik Willis is proven to be valuable to our offense. And, Jay Money coming back doesn't necessarily mean that we have to send Malik Willis to the bench for him to sit there the rest of the year. If there's a play that you have dialed up that, to keep Minnesota's defense on their toes, even if he's just going out there lining up in the slot or something crazy and making people wonder, what are they going to do back there? But I think you're right. We saw a little bit of that for a few years with Taysom Hill down in New Orleans, the kind of tandem quarterback kind of thing. But we all know Taysom Hill's kind of a freak of nature. The guy can play multiple positions. I think Malik Willis is purely a quarterback. Definitely has some good athletic ability and is a threat on that offense. But I think getting Jordan back out there, getting him going early and often, getting as many series under his belt as you can to shake that rust off, I would go with that approach opposed to, maybe the suggestion of letting him sit until, we see how the game goes. If you start Malik, I think that would kind of throw things off even more. I'd put a plan together. If Love's the dude, let's go. And tell QB2, tell Malik Willis I'd have him up throwing all afternoon. Keep that arm loose. You never know the way things go. So I think it's going to favor us more. It's going to favor Jordan more to get him out, get him reps, get him going at game speed. It's been, a while here since he's played actual football. So
I completely agree. And I don't think Diana Rossini is making this up. I think she heard this from someone in the building. But like Brent in Indiana says here with the super chat, thanks, buddy. He says, advantage Vikings preparing for both. That's in my opinion. So I don't know if it's exactly what you're saying here, Brent, but the fact that you put that report out there and now they've got to kind of plan for that. Like, hey, if we see Malik Willis get in the game, if number 2 comes in, we got to be ready for this, this, and this. You're having to waste some practice reps on that, right? That type of thing. So that could be where it's coming from within the building. But I have no reason to believe Diana Rossini just made this up out of thin air. She may have heard it. The question is it espionage, Tim? Is it misinformation in 2024? We know a lot of that's going around.
Yeah.
So, all right. With that being said, that's the end of hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. Appreciate y'all.
Just to play devil's advocate there, this is the same reporter that told us about the Ryan Tannehill phone calls that apparently never happened. So
supposedly didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Did somebody tell her that?
Right. Exactly. That's true.
That's true. Why I trust Spoon more than anyone, because you could tell Spoon is really locked in to Goody. When Spoon says something, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I've said this before. I kind of feel like it's Goody going, hey, Spoon, let the fans know this real quick. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. Diana Rossini, God love her, they're just going, hey, yeah, let's get some false information out. Get Diana on the phone.
Right. And she's just getting info and trying to get it out. A lot of reporters do that, right? That's reporting. You see something, you hear something, you got to say something, get it out. Hopefully it's true. Even if it's not, it was true that something was said to her, though, like you're saying, So I don't know. I trust you're right. We got a handful of beat writers that we can go to and put a little bit more faith and credence into what they're saying. But you got to look at all this stuff seriously because you never know.
Yeah. Brent, thank you for the super chat, bub. Appreciate you. Greg Rice says, why is Spoon his nickname? It's actually a story that was told when I think he was like 8 or 9 years old.
I thought it was because Goody spoon feeds him information. Is that
when he was 8 or 9 years old, he killed a raccoon with a spoon. And that's like this. Yeah, it's just kind of taking on a nickname.
Wow.
I just made that up too. Completely.
I was going to say that's crazier than what I just suggested.
What I was thinking is Silverstein, Silver Spoon. Maybe somebody gave him that nickname early in his career. I don't know. I have no reason to believe that's exactly what. See, I just spread 2 lies there. There you go. Look at me, man. I'm tracking to be a media member, Tim. Look at me.
Here's the guy.
Exactly. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Tucker Kraft. This is cool. Bill Huber tweeted out, Packers tight end Tucker Kraft plans on channeling his inner Bavaro. That would be Mark Bavaro, who retired long before Kraft was born. We kind of talked about him yesterday. Tucker Kraft's a throwback, dude. There's no doubt about it, man. Just an old school tight end. I'm looking for him to have another big game too, man. We're going to get into some PFF statistics here in a minute. I'd like to dive into before we wrap up the show. But I think Tucker Kraft, based off of what former players are saying watching the tape, and these are things that I'm not picking up on, but obviously people who have played in the league for a long time are picking up on. Man, there's a lot of people high on Tucker Kraft, and I'm excited for what he's got in store the rest of his career for sure.
Absolutely. Tuck Norris is the man. I like that photo of him too. It looks like he's early for the Halloween party. He's got like half of his Batman mask on. There it is. I love it.
Jacob wears that to the club every Saturday night.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. The ladies love it, right?
All right, let's do this. Why don't we take a quick gander into what Brian Baldinger had to say about Xavier McKinney. Baldy's breakdowns on Twitter are just phenomenal, man. If you guys aren't following him, I remember listening to Baldy when I was a lot younger, as soon as he retired from football, and just hearing him break down the tape. He's so passionate about it. You never hear him give a hot take. He's never on Twitter or giving a take to get attention. It's just simply, here's what he's seen on tape. And he just brings such a positive approach, man. He's definitely one of the voices of the NFL that I respect so much. Let's see what he had to say about Packers free agent addition, safety, Xavier McKinney, obviously with 3 interceptions in 3 games already. Here we go.
I think the Packers knew exactly what they were getting when they signed Xavier McKinney from the Giants this offseason. You go back to Brazil right here, and they're running a Tampa 2 defense right here. All right, middle linebacker running with Devontae Smith right down the middle. All right, it's basically a 3 deep coverage, but you see the range that Xavier has. Like, he's got tremendous range. All right, and then he's got an instinct. He's got a feel for it. Like right here, Indianapolis is going to run the speedo route combination. It's popular against a cover 3 look. All right, just a post dig. And all Anthony Richardson is doing is reading Xavier McKinney. But McKinney can see the flight of this ball right here. And he's like, they're going to the dig. And he's in position right there when Anthony Richardson sails that ball. And then you just see this. This is 3rd and 1. They got a bunch of tight ends up there. Here he is, just cheating and creeping right here. 3rd and 1, just an instinct. Like,
Another saying for Jacob on a Saturday night, cheating and creeping.
okay, what if they run this pitch option out here and they get it to Trey Sermon? Like, who's going to be there to make this tackle for 4-yard loss? Xavier McKinney. And then you get last week. Last week, here he is, 20 yards deep and a rotation to center field right here. And Will Levis is going to take this shot right down here to Calvin Ridley. You can see the range again. The range, the hands, the instincts, it's all there. Leads the league in interceptions right now. He was the perfect signing for the back end of this new Packer defense. Playing great football right now.
Perfect signing. I don't want to hear any Gutekunst slander ever. I don't
We
want
will
to
not tolerate it.
You know what is really noticeable to me when I watch tape on Xavier McKinney is I don't care where his assignment is. I don't care if it's a run play, a pass play. I don't care what the set is. He is a guy that never gets caught flipping his hips wrong. His feet are always in the right position. You never see him getting washed out of a play or guessing wrong. Physically, pre-snap to the snap to post-snap, he's always in alignment. It's almost like his feet never stop. Just physically playing the position very well. I mean, this is, if you've got young players out there, high school, youth sports level, this is the type of tape you want them watching if they're secondary players, because this is how you play the position. And that's why he was brought in here. And it's just awesome to see him doing it in the green and gold now.
Yeah. What's crazy about this play, and we talked about it on Chalk Talk, they're in Tampa too, guys. Xavier McKinney's responsibility is deep half left from the offense's perspective. And he gets over and picks the ball off on the seam. Like, he's just hell of a signing, like you said, by Brian Gutekunst, man. Just absolutely crushed it. So it's cool to see him continue to get the recognition he deserves. And McKinney, by the way, graduate of University of Alabama, right? Played there. They are boat racing the Georgia Bulldogs right now.
Oh, no.
Bama's number 4, Georgia's number 2, and Bama is somehow winning in the second quarter 28-7 if they hit this extra point. That's crazy. Wow. You know what I just did, Tim? The reason I was looking at my phone, I just went and put a little money on plus 18 Georgia. I think there's a little comeback in store here.
I certainly hope so. Got a lot of Georgia fans in my family, so
you tell them I'm a Georgia fan tonight, man. We got just a little
tough
bit
game. They're playing in Alabama, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so tough game on the road for the Bulldogs. Hopefully they make it interesting.
Well, started out +1 for Bama. The line has already went to plus 18, I think it was, at the bet I just placed.
Wow.
And just for those of you wondering, 4 for 4 on the day live betting in college football, man. I just love combing through and seeing a plus 21. I'll take them odds. And then, especially after halftime. And then, of course, Kentucky Wildcats earlier today, I had them plus 6.5 when I jumped in on that action. They end up beating the number 6 Ole Miss running Rebels. So love that for sure. This is cool. Lambeau Field tweeted this out, their Twitter account, just getting ready for the game tomorrow. Tim, look at them strapping that thing up. Emilio will be proud. Look at that. Emilio's at a wedding tonight, by the way. So that's why he's not in the house. But
I love it.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see football at Lambeau Field tomorrow, man.
Shout out to our grounds crew, man. They're some of the best. They really are. That field always looks pristine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we will be going live an hour and a half before kickoff. So 10:30 Lambeau time tomorrow. We're going to be doing a pregame show, okay? And then we'll, of course, be doing a postgame show as well. So you guys make sure you look for that link and you're subbed to the channel. Feel free to hit like in here right now if you're enjoying this content. We go live daily talking Packers pretty much 365 days a year. But we appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening here. So, yeah, Lambeau's going to be beautiful tomorrow. There's nothing better than October in Wisconsin. Obviously, we're right around the corner here. Where are we on the 28th now? 29th will be tomorrow. So, man, I love Green Bay, Wisconsin. There's nothing like it. Absolutely.
So beautiful, especially this time of year, like you said. You know, I'm a fall baby. You know, I love the fall football, and Wisconsin weather. You can't beat it.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. All right, let's look at some statistics here, man. And we're just going to kind of freelance this if it's all right with you, Tim. I'm going to pull up PFF for their statistics. Okay, we're going to try not to key too much in on grades right now, and we just want to look at the stats. Okay, and they do a good job with this. And I'll go full screen so everybody can see this a little bit better. And we'll just kind of jump around. If there's anything that you want to see specifically, Tim, you let me know, and we'll jump into any position. Any key statistic that you want to see here, okay? So this is what I was talking about, stop percentage, run stop percentage. And again, Eric Wilson, 22.2%, leading the Packers. Lucas Van Ness, Tim, coming on strong, dude, 14.3% stop percentage against the run there for Lucas Van Ness. You love to see that on the edge. Carl Brooks on the interior, 12.5%. He's got 16 run defensive snaps, so pretty healthy sample there. Devontae Wyatt, 25 run defensive snaps, 12% stop percentage. So there you're seeing your two best run stuffers 3 weeks into the season here, right? And then you got LVN, like I said, at the edge position. Eric Wilson, again, he comes in on base snaps. And part of me wants him in there on the nickel, but I tell you, Edgerrin Cooper, the flash he showed last week, he's getting noticed a lot for his athleticism, no doubt. TJ Slayton, 8.6%. Preston Smith, 8.3%. Edgerrin Cooper, 6.7%. Quay Walker, 6.7%. Keyshawn Nixon, 6.3%. Really interesting there. That's what Coach Half was talking about. As you get to the bottom of the list here, you got Kenny Clark, 4.5%. Javon Buller, 3.6%. Kingsley Enagbare, 3.4%. Xavier McKinney, 3.3%. Rashawn Gary, 2.4%. That low is crazy. That number's crazy low. 41 run defensive snaps. We showed you he's being chipped 5th most in the league by tight ends and running backs. So they're definitely looking to double him off the edge there in the run game as well. So just interesting to kind of see who's showing up in the run game here on defense, Tim. Anything catch you off guard here? I'm really excited about that LVN number, man.
Oh, yeah, LVN, that's exciting to see that because he's continuing to improve every single week. The thing caught me off guard is I was just, talking bad about TJ Slayton and the run fits.
Right.
Here he is sitting at number 5 on our list, making me look foolish once again. So that's good. Interesting to see this breakdown too, because we're going to need that tomorrow for sure. And Edgerrin Cooper, good old Coop, man. I want to see that snap count doubled. Hopefully tomorrow is the step in that direction. I certainly think you're going to see an increase in his snap counts week to week, especially if he remains healthy and continues to play well when he is out there. You see him get called and he's out on the field and he makes a play. He got in on that sack last week and, blowing up the line and things like this. Like, he's going to get more looks, and it doesn't matter who they're going to move around, whether it's Quay or they, maybe they take some snaps away from Zay McDuffie, who knows. But Edgerrin Cooper needs to see the field more, particularly in these run fits too. Seeing him there at number 7 with only 15 snaps.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt about it. So let's, since we kind of got an idea of who's playing pretty well as far as run stop percentage, let's now see if we can jump into another statistic here. Let's see if we can get into some pass coverage and kind of see who's sticking out when it comes to the defensive pass coverage. Specifically, I want to see linebacker. Let's just go. Let's go coverage in general here, and kind of see where everything lines up. Let's hop over here. Let's take everybody off but the backers. Okay, let's see. Actually, yeah, let's just keep the backers up there. Let's see who's really starting to emerge in this regard. And I like to go passer rating when targeted. Eric Wilson, 61.1. Quay Walker, 90.5. Edgerrin Cooper, 95.8. Isaiah McDuffie, 138.4. The reason I wanted to look at it, I'm not here to dog McDuffie, but Tim, what's keeping Edgerrin Cooper off the field? Obviously, it's the glaring problem is he doesn't have a full grab of the defense yet. Matt LaFleur mentioned it in the media that Edgerrin Cooper has struggled to kind of be in the right spot, get lined up correctly, things like that. You get that ironed out, There's no reason that Isaiah McDuffie, from a numbers standpoint, should be starting in that nickel over Edgerrin Cooper as it sits right now. So, again, 95.8, that's not a great number, passer rating when targeted, but Isaiah McDuffie's 138.4, man. That's absolutely horrible. So just something to kind of keep an eye on there. I think we got to get Cooper in the lineup, like you said, man. He doesn't have to play every snap.
Yep.
But like you said, maybe increase it 10 more snaps, something like that, right?
I think you're right, though. I mean, you might have just cracked the code here. Why we're seeing, Zay McDuffie continuing to get these snaps is here's a guy who's been in this, not in this system, but, he's been on the team a little bit longer. He's been a pro a lot longer than Edgerrin Cooper. And if it's taking Coop a little bit of time, this is the way you get him more snaps, right? You put him in situationally, you give him an assignment, you tell him to go out and execute. He does a good job. You stack another snap on that in another situation. And hopefully he continues to do a good job. And you kind of walk, crawl before you walk before you run. And before you know it, he's got a full grasp of this defense and he can go out there and pin his ears back and, do what he came here to do. I think week to week, we are going to see more snaps for him, but it's just a matter of him really, like you said, grasping what we're trying to do in this Hafley system. Because it's one thing to be fast, athletic, aggressive, and talented, but if you're not in the right spot, it's not going to do us any justice.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So just interesting to kind of see how the backers are shaping up there. What's another statistic you'd like to see, Tim, as far as all right, we talked about, the running game and then the passing game on defense from the defensive line and the linebacker perspective. What would you like to see? Is there anything it can be offense too, any statistic at all? Like maybe we've kind of hit already yesterday on cornerbacks in man and zone coverage, right? And how Josh struggled in man. He's played really, really well in zone. Is there anything else you'd like to see us hit on here?
What about the safeties? Is there anything we could break down with
let's do it.
Safeties.
All right. So if we're doing let's start with coverage. Actually, let's just hit coverage here. So passer rating when targeted, this is all coverages, both man and zone. We can break it down individually if we wanted to. We'll just kind of keep it simple. Xavier McKinney, passer rating when targeted, 28.1. It's just phenomenal.
Wow.
Look at Evan Williams, bro. And again, I hate how this lines up sometimes, but I want to see how many snaps he gets here. Only 18 coverage snaps, okay? But still 56.3. Yep. And you see Javon Bullard struggling, 116.0, right? And the worst part of his was definitely man coverage. It's like 20, or I'm sorry, it was well over 100 for it. And the zone coverage, passer rating when targeted, was a lot better. But kind of the numbers there kind of want to see Evan Williams a little bit. You know what I mean? It feels like it was a lifetime ago that we were all talking about. We got to get him on the field there when it came to preseason and training camp, how he was just absolutely dominant.
Yeah, it could be a similar situation with Evan Williams, like we just talked about with Edgerrin Cooper. These are rookie guys. Maybe Evan Williams is not quite 100% grasping these concepts, and they have to pepper him in little by little. As far as the compare and contrast to Javon Bullard, you hit on this a few days ago on the pod. Javon Bullard is, he's a battering ram in that secondary, basically. He's our downhill guy. He's our guy that's going to make those tackles. Especially in some of these run fits, come up and get in there and make a play. As far as coverage, as a coverage safety, that's something that he's got to work on. And I think he's going to continue to improve with that respect, but he may always be tilted more towards, just being a good, solid open field tackler and aggressive back there in the secondary. And I'm okay with that. As long as you're not a liability in coverage, you are playing safety. You are a safety valve, So I think it's just going to take time with him to get those numbers up. And you look at X there, 28.1. There's a pretty doggone good example of where you want to be. So great to have him here with these rookies back there.
Definitely. If we go to run stop percentage, is probably not the best thing for safeties because they're playing so far away most of the time. But let's just kind of take a look at the run defensive grade. And this is where you see the value with Javon Bullard, man. Javon Bullard run defensive grade is a 78.1. Evan Williams is a 60. Xavier McKinney not grading out that well in run defense. But nonetheless, man, you've seen like the clip that Baldy showed, man. That dude flows to the football really, really well. And again, it doesn't mean you got to agree with everything PFF has. I like to look at the grades. I feel like basically someone for free put together an entire team to grade the tape for me. I'm going to use that as a source, right? It doesn't mean they're correct. It doesn't mean they're always right. It damn sure don't mean they're always wrong either, though. So it's just another metric. But yeah, as far as the run defense goes, run play tackling here, I think the thing that's hurting Xavier McKinney, he has missed 16.7% of the tackles he's attempted. So keep that in mind. Javon Bullard has not missed a tackle yet, Tim. So that is definitely his superpower, no doubt. That's probably why he's staying on the field. And it looks like there's only been 6 run defensive snaps for Evan Williams, so you really don't know what you got there. Although I think we would all agree when we turn on the college tape there, he was a tackling machine, no doubt about it.
That's why I like Javon Bullard so much. Every defense, man, you need a thumper back there. You need a guy like that's going to lower the boom. And you see here, you talk about McKinney. McKinney's kind of struggling. I don't even know if struggling is the right word, but run defense is not exactly why I think X was brought here to Green Bay. I don't think they put a point of emphasis on his approach to the run defense. If he can get in there and prevent plays from becoming explosives, that's great. But you want X doing what we've seen him do on tape all year long, which is covering that whole damn field and making picks and making plays, putting guys in the right position, those kind of things. So seeing Javon Bullard with this 78.1 run defense grade, that's exactly why we brought that Bulldog here. And it's fun to see. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. Let's look at receiving real quick. That sound good?
Yeesh.
Take a quick little look at receiving. You got receiving versus that. Let's just go receiving in general to start with here, okay? So when it comes to the Packers, let's key in on
now here's some guys.
Yeah, passer rating when targeted, if we could find it here. Where are you at? You gotta be kidding me. Please tell me they got I think it's under rating on this instead of NFL. You see an RTG.
Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, rating on the right.
All right, so
Woo, Scoot.
Looking for all those Christian Watson haters currently. 148.8 leads the Packers in passer rating when targeted. You talking about maximizing your opportunities. My man is zoned in, no doubt. Second, Jaden Reed at 137.5. Tim, Emmanuel Wilson's a great running back. And this is me in the offseason. He's a great running back. He just struggles in the passing game. Passer rating when targeted, 137.1, man, for Emmanuel Wilson. Look at Tucker Kraft continuing to do his thing. 112.5. Romeo Dobbs, 111.9. Josh Jacobs, 90.6. This has been the big surprise. Dontavion Wicks, 79.4, really struggled. Luke Musgrave, man, God, he's having a rough year, bro, 16.7. But, yeah, as it sits right now, man, Jaden Reed, your most valuable receiver currently. Christian Watson's about to get this thing going, dude. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, breakout year for Scoot inbound. I can see it. You're right about Tay Wicks. It's I don't know if it's slow start. I don't know if maybe Jordan Love going down and missing these last few games. I don't know if it's maybe the chemistry with Malik Willis just wasn't there. You could definitely see these past 2 games with Malik under center that Jaden Reed was definitely a security blanket for him. That was a guy he was looking that way a lot. Same thing with Rome and Scoot. So it'll be interesting now with Jordan Love back at the helm to see what happens with number 13 out there. I fully expect Tay Wicks to start to reemerge here as the threat in this offense that we know he is. We know that dude is an explosive play waiting to happen, especially anytime Minnesota shows any kind of zone. I'm looking for Tay Wicks to go there and find that soft spot, sit down and make some catches. So I think it's a matter of time before he gets going, but feel good about our receivers. Luke Musgrave there at the bottom, that's a little disconcerting, like you said, especially considering that I've always looked at him as kind of a big receiver more than a true tight end. I think Tuck Norris is our all around true, I call him the Swiss Army knife tight end because he is, but Musgrave, you want to see some improvement here in the pass game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just taking a quick look at Christian Watson, obviously first couple games graded out kind of bad, 76 on this last one. And, dude, he's been blocking his ass off, man. Got to love the way he's blocking when it comes to the run game, no doubt. Let's see here. the other thing I wanted to see, let's go receiving versus scheme. All right. And let's see how each receiver is doing versus man versus zone. I'm pretty sure I've got the right one here. Yeah. So man coverage comes up first. And when we go rating against man coverage for the Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson has absolutely cooked man coverage, 158.3. All right, Tucker Kraft, 97.9. Romeo Dobbs, 97.9. Marshawn Lloyd, 79.2, along with Emmanuel Wilson. Jaden Reed, 47.9. Tim, this is exactly what happened last year. You remember? Like, Jaden Reed destroyed zone coverage and kind of, I don't want to say he struggled, but he wasn't targeted as much against man coverage. So it's kind of the same thing's kind of playing out again this year. So it seems like against a heavy man coverage team, you want to look for Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs to have big games, just for all the fantasy owners out there. And then, like, maybe stay away from Reed a little bit. Now, granted, when you're in man coverage, it's going to open up some of those reverses and things. And then if we were to hop over real quick to zone, don't be surprised if all of a sudden Jaden Reed goes through the roof there. Looky here, 155.8 against zone. So, I mean, it checks out. It really does. And the one guy who's performing well against both is definitely Christian Watson at 109.7, right?
Yeah, I tell you, they want to sugar Harrison Smith down there in the box pre-snap. Go ahead and flex Scoot inside and have him just run and go. And go ahead, Mr. Smith. See if you can catch up to Scoot. I doubt it's going to happen.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And that's the thing. There's big plays to be had unless they change their scheme up. You know, who's to say that Brian Flores, who learned from the best as far as adjusting to your weekly opponent, you know, learning from Bill Belichick, who knows, he may come out and play a vanilla defense, stay in shell, and not even show blitz, right? I have a hard time believing it because they're having so much success right now, but that could definitely be on the table as well, no doubt. So it's exciting to see some of these guys and just how well they're playing. I'm going to go to running real quick because I want to see it's not going to show against man, I don't believe. Yeah, we're not going to have that information. I was going to say, how does our boy Jaden Reed look running against man and zone? Of course, they don't even have Jaden Reed on this list, do they? Oh, it's just back fullback. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's remove the fullback.
Yeah.
Non-running back. Here we go. Bang.
There he is, number 2.
Boom. Running grade. Jaden Reed, 77.8. He's just about caught up with Josh Jacobs. That's wild, man.
I wonder if Bird played a little tailback in high school or something at one point, because he's dynamic back there.
Yeah, my guess is that guy is probably the best on every team he's ever played on. You know, basketball, anything. To be honest with you.
Yep.
Just trying to get a glance at some of these statistics real quick, if there's anything. So there's the elusiveness rating, right? Damn, Bo Melton a 450. My God, I don't even know what that means, but it's got to be good. Jaden Reed, 186.7. One of the things I like about Next Gen Stats is showing that yards over expected. There's got to be something here, too. I'm wondering if that might be the YCO. Let's see what YCO is. Yards after contact, so very similar, right? So when it comes to yards after contact per attempt, Malik Willis. You love to see it. Jaden Reed, there you go, man. 7 yards. He's averaging 7 yards after contact per rushing attempt. And, of course, far fewer rushes than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, 3.37. Emmanuel Wilson, a 3.10. So pretty solid stuff there. Is Marshawn Lloyd active tomorrow, Tim? Or he's on IR?
No, he's on IR, I believe.
Yeah. I keep looking forward to seeing him back on the field. But, man, I tell you, Emmanuel Wilson, go make your money, dude. Go make your freaking money. You know what I'm saying? Have a big year. And I think the Packers still have his rights next year, but you're setting yourself up to get at least one good payday. And coming from an undrafted free agent, bro, that's huge, you know?
Yeah, we had good feelings about him last season. And, you know, this year it's great to see him healthy and active and, you know, a big part of this offense. You got to love it. He's a perfect complement to Josh Jacobs, really is.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so there you go. Just like I said, a couple of cool stats there just to kind of see how everybody's shaking out. Let's go slot coverage, and let's get crazy with it here, Tim. Let's remove the Green Bay filter. Let's go slot coverage across the entire NFL, and let's see who's really performed. Let's see how our boy Keyshawn Nixon's shaken out when it comes to playing slot corner across the league. Let's see what the passer rating when targeted and where he ranks. I haven't even looked at this. I'm interested to see where he falls. So leading the way is Tre'Davious White. I didn't even know he was playing slot in LA. That's interesting, 39.7. So that's kind of the bar, 39.7 passer rating when targeted out of the slot, okay? And, boy, Carson Beck looks like absolute dookie tonight. Sorry, I got distracted there. Let's see where our boy is. Where's Keyshawn? Where's Keyshawn? Is he really that low? I felt like he's played pretty damn well this year. Here he is. So he's 55th amongst slot corners. And when I say slot corners, it's taking into consideration every cornerback who has slot snaps. Now let's see if we can get the total number of slot snaps or coverage. So coverage, let's try to set it a realistic expectation here. You see all these lower numbers. And Keyshawn has, how many was it here? Where's he at again?
55. He's 55? At 55, yeah.
So he's got 85 coverage snaps. So let's set it. I don't want to skew it too far in his favor. Let's set it to 20. That sound good to you, Tim? Let's go 20 coverage snaps from the slot. And let's see where he shakes out now, passer rating when targeted. Because some of those guys just had like 7, 8 snaps, right?
Right.
So when you do that, Keyshawn is sitting at
28.
Yeah. So at a 103.8. Interesting. Really, really interesting there. And again, he's actually played better man coverage than zone coverage, which is.
I honestly think Keyshawn is a guy that is, if he ever said he doesn't pay attention to what's being said about him, don't believe him, because he's very in tune to the Twitterverse and social media.
I think didn't he get off of Twitter too? Am I thinking right?
He might have for a while. Sometimes guys do that, especially during the season. But I know throughout camp and going into this year, there was a lot of smack being talked about Keyshawn. And I say that raising my own hand. I was a part of that group too, talking about his play in the slot, right?
Right.
And I got to think that I wonder if he took that to the best players take that criticism and things like that, and they turn it into a positive. And I wonder if that kind of lit a fire under him a little bit, because he's playing better than expected, I think, so far this year. Like you said, especially in the man coverage situations, which was honestly something that we saw him struggle with last season. Stepping up, having to not necessarily play press, but being close to the line and having a one-on-one assignment. He was getting roasted last year. And this year we haven't seen it. We've seen him make some good tackles too. Tackling has improved. So Keyshawn is proving the haters wrong, and you love to see it.
Yeah, definitely. So as we get ready to wrap up, appreciate everybody hanging out, man. We got a bunch of people in here tonight. Thank you all so much for making us a part of your Saturday evening. If you would give us a like on your way out, we appreciate that greatly. We did kind of a game plan breakdown earlier in the week, just to give you guys a quick recap of some of the things that I came up with as far as game planning for this Minnesota Vikings game. The big thing for me is understanding what they're comfortable running. They're in cover 2 zone 26% of the time. That's second most in the league. They're in cover 4 zone 25% of the time. That's sixth most in the league. They're in cover 0 10% of the time. That is leading the league. So they run more cover 0 blitz than anyone else in the league. Keep in mind, it's only 10% of the time they pick their spots. The other thing, too, is the EPA. The EPA allowed in 2x2 sets, which simply means two receivers. Keep in mind, could be a tight end and a receiver. Could be 2 tight ends. Could be a receiver tight end. But basically 2x2 sets. Their EPA allowed is 0.02 in the positive, so that's 16th best in the league. A little bit of a weakness, so look for Matt LaFleur to maybe run a little more 12 than we have here lately. You want to avoid 3x1 sets, meaning trips and tray left. Avoid that. Their EPA is 6. EPA allowed is minus 0.27, which is 6th best in the league. Go 1x3, which is trips and tray right, is a minus 0.11. That's 14th best in the league. So you want to attack trips and tray right. It doesn't mean you're going to line up there pre-snap. Maybe start with a 2x2 set, motion over to trips and tray right. And the same thing, start off in trips and tray right, motion over to 2x2. Those are the two things they struggle with the most. Against 12 personnel, minus 0.02 in EPA allowed. That's 19th best in the league. So really press in to 12 personnel, 2x2 sets is what I'm looking at. Kind of that, what I call 12 balance. So you'll probably come out 12 tray right and then motion one of the tight ends over, gather some information, and settle in at 2x2. Big matchup, in my opinion, Jaden Reed in the slot versus Murphy Jr. in the slot. To me, you want to exploit the hell out of that matchup when you are throwing the football, okay? So that's the big thing, 12 balance, we talked about, all those things. Tuesday players on defense, safety Harrison Smith, dog, got to know where 22 is all day long. Edge defender, he's kind of a hybrid. He'll play stack too, but he blitzes a lot, is Van Ginkel. He's a stud. And then linebacker Blake Cashman, they signed in free agency, is an absolute dog too. You got to know where those three guys are at all times. Now, when we switch to the defensive side of the ball, this is the Vikings offense, okay? They like to run 11 personnel 62.3% of the time. That's 18th most in the league, kind of middle of the pack. 12 personnel 20.4% of the time. That's 16th most in the league, middle of the pack. And then, of course, 21 personnel, they run at 15% of the time. That's sixth most in the league. So you're going to see some two-back sets, and you got to be ready to stop that run when it comes to Aaron Jones out of the two-back sets. As far as EPA, 12 personnel, when they're in 12 personnel, they're in it 20% of the time. EPA is 0.35, second best in the league. Very, very effective out of 12. 21 personnel, 0.01 EPA, that's 11th best. 11 personnel, 0.06 EPA, 14th best. They have the most success out of 1x3 sets, meaning trips and Trey Wright, same as us, and 2x2. In the trips and Trey Wright, they're second in EPA in the league. 2x2 sets balance, they're third in EPA in the league, and 2x1 sets, they're not in EPA in the league. What they really like to do from a tendency standpoint, they love to run left. They're having a lot of success running left. So make sure you're cheating a half a gap to the left. Let's contain the run on the left. Pressure the quarterback from the right. He loves to throw the football to the right. So if you're going to pressure, if you're going to dial up a five-man rush, bring it off the right side and make him go to his left. That's what you want to do. Same as it was last week with Will Levis. They're Tuesday players. It goes without saying, but Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, halfback Aaron Jones, and obviously quarterback Sam Darnold. The way you want to attack those guys, obviously cheat left on Aaron Jones in a running game. Justin Jefferson, I didn't have time to do it, but I'm sure the coaching staff did. Find his top 5 routes that he's had success the first 3 games of the year. Figure out how they incorporate that route into their passing concepts and their route combinations, and try to, draw up something, whether it's a Mabel look on the outside or if you want to cheat inside with some Tampa 2 to take away his most comfortable routes. That's the way to go. And just get the pressure in Sam Darnold's lap. That's it. So last week, Tim, huge win against Houston, Minnesota had. They won the middle 8. Well, the middle 8 was tied, but they ended up scoring with 10:22 left in the third. Might as well have been the middle 8. You're just about 30 seconds off there, 38 seconds off. And they won the turnover differential 2-0. We showed you guys those 2 interceptions on Next Gen Stats. That was mistakes by the offense. It wasn't like a defense did something all world. We can win this damn football game, Tim, no doubt.
Absolutely. I have full confidence. This is going to be a hell of a game. It could go one of 2 ways. It could be a grinder or it could be a shootout, right? I think it's going to be close. I don't see a boat race either way, but again, we respect this opponent, but we're not gonna fear them at all. I think we go right at them all day long. We can get it done.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, Fred McFarley, man, just seen it, buddy. Thank you so much for the dono there, Val. You are the man. We appreciate you. So yeah, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun game. We'll be doing a pregame show. Let's end it here in the chat real quick. Dave's MX6 says, LOL, the JJ tweet about the turf, and I tweeted at US Bank. One of the worst that the taxpayers had to pay to replace theirs, the chef's kiss. This is what they're talking about. Justin Jefferson earlier said, preparing for Lambeau Field's conditions, quote, they don't have the best field. Definitely have to make sure I have the right cleats on to make sure I'm not falling or slipping out there. Sound like somebody already making excuses, Tim.
Sound like another one of those dome merchants out there playing a dome, bruh.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Absolutely hilarious, man.
I like it. I saw your tweet earlier. Yeah, he's lining it up already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking at the tape.
Run the footage you had that we played a few minutes ago of the grounds crew putting the striping on Lambeau, right. nice and clean and ready. I don't know if JJ's aware it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Probably no moisture on that field. It'll be a good day for football. A noon game under the sun. So I don't want to hear excuses about the turf. Absolutely. Nothing could be as close to as terrible as what the Packers played on in Sao Paulo in week 1. So, hey,
Definitely. Fred McFarley said, thanks, Tim and Clayton. Hit the like and super chat. It be well. Appreciate you, Fred. Again, thank you for the super chat, bud. We appreciate you. Chris Ian, been a member for 6 months. Valentine's going to ball out, y'all. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if he shuts JJ down again.
Shout out to Nick McSwain in the chat. I don't know if we want to put that on the screen, but I love it. I love that energy, Nick.
Let's see here. Yeah, we can put that up there. Right? Oh, well, yeah, we could do that. Nick McSwain says he sounds like a biatch. So there you go. All right. And I love everybody's. J. Cole is my spirit animal, Tim.
Yeah,
I went,
what the hell is he talking about?
Like,
what is he talking about anyway?
It's the best surface in the league. Nick comes back and says he's going to hit the ref with his helmet again.
Oh man, I love it.
I love it, man. So there you go, guys. We'll wrap it up there. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Tim, you got anything else, bub?
No, see you guys out there pregame tomorrow, man. Gonna enjoy it. And go Pack go. Let's get the dub. And no Lambeau leaps for Aaron Jones tomorrow. Let's keep him out of the end zone.
Exactly. That's exactly right, man. When he tries to jump in that crowd, if he does,
sit your butt outside.
Right there. All right. So appreciate y'all. We will see you tomorrow.
10:30 Central.
10:30 Central, Lambeau time there. So we'll be going live for the pregame show. Really, really appreciate everybody. Again, one last shout out to everyone. Brent in Indiana with the super chat, Fred McFarley with the super chat, Chris M been a member now for 6 months, and a newest member, Andrew Petro. I hope I'm saying that right, or Petro. Either way, man. Appreciate you becoming a YouTube member here, pal. And that's the other thing too. All the YouTube members, all the Patreon members, we're going to put everybody on the wheel of the Larry McCarron Pinky wheel tomorrow. We're going to spin it and give away, I believe it's an autographed Robert Brooks jersey. I'll get confirmation there for the pregame, but we're going to be giving that away tomorrow night. That's going to be a lot of fun. So,
awesome.
That being said, Tim, help me out here, man.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us. Thank you for making us part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack go.